So welcome to the Little Rec meeting on October 22nd. We have a quorum, so we can begin. So we'll call to order. First item is consideration of minutes for previous meetings. So our minute taker could not do the minutes because of the recording, but we discussed that we didn't have any motions or any votes to record. So we'll sort of piece that together, and then we'll put some minutes together and vote it and review them for the next meeting and discuss and put something together for that. So our next item is public input. Is there anybody here from the public that would like to address the commission? Yes.
My lane, Medical Lawn Landscape.
All right, Brian, if you wouldn't mind, come on up. Make yourself.
Too bad. I just had a question for the commission, a couple of questions of concern relative to the RFPs for field maintenance. Is this the first year that you've split them up in mowing and turf care?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any specific reason for that?
The discussion is we are looking at possibly having the highway department and other facilities in town combining for just the mowing feature.
Okay. Is anybody aware of some concerns that, someone like myself might have with that in regards to lawn care?
Yes.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, finger pointing. There's a lot of issues that could come up with this type of setup.
Well, that's why we didn't want to go with it right away.
Right.
This is something that we're investigating, but we want to have the opportunity just to sort of see when we're looking at it, what our cost savings versus benefits analysis would be next year. So
as a turf care provider that is bidding on both of these, my biggest concern is, say I'm awarded the turf care end of proposals. I need to have complete control over who's mowing and when, because there's issues of cross-contamination. If somebody's going and they're mowing the sides of the roads and they're full of crabgrass, mature dandelions, then they take that same mower. It's not clean. Mower blades are dull. They come onto the field. They're spreading millions of seeds. They're creating more and more problems. Okay. Dull mower blades, incidents for disease, things like that. So if all I have control over is fertilizer inputs and chemical inputs, but I have no control over what possible cross contaminants are coming into the property, who's at fault?
I think you're thinking too far down the line because we're not doing it this year. So whoever gets the contract this year isn't going to have to worry.
Well, I mean,
about
there is
that
a
at all.
possibility we have it bid separately.
You're voting on voting on it tonight, though.
They're voting on it. Yeah, and they're sorry. You mean?
So I'm very concerned. Because
Honestly, this is something. Realistically, this is something that we don't really know. And it's something
So we'll discuss that when we get into the RFP. But yeah, so this is just public input. So
So all I'm expressing is my concern as a turf care provider. I've been doing it for 25 years. This is old news for me. Some of you might have the same kind of background. I don't know, but these are issues that, need to be considered. I need to take into consideration. If Natticook is awarded the bid, I'm going to have a problem with another company coming in and mowing. Or if I'm awarded the mowing bid, and there's another company controlling the lawn care aspect of it. I have no idea if they just sprayed an herbicide this morning and I need to cut this afternoon. Now you got a field that's smoked because the temperature spiked 90 degrees and no one told me that they put down an herbicide. So that's it.
Great.
Any other questions for me?
Well, let's see. That'll be. We'll close public input. I don't think we have any facility and field requests. So I would like to go to new business since we have Ryan here and on the field mowing and maintenance. So what I did is I did invite all the companies to come and sort of introduce themselves. I mean, most of us have met. Actually, I don't know if you guys have met Brian from TLC. I had not met Brian before, so this is great. we do have the bids. We can't alter the bids, obviously, but we can clarify some things and ask questions just to sort of get a better feel for who we're working with.
And it was my understanding, like going into this bid process, I didn't think it was broken up into two parts of the proposal so that we would hire one company to do the mowing this year and one company to do I think it was broken up that way. So in the future, after a year, we could evaluate.
It was just set up so that they said, look, we want to look at next year possibly having, so they asked us to split it into the two
'Cause
pieces, just so we
This
have an
RFP
idea.
is for 1 or 2 years.
This is 1 year.
This is 1 year.
And I don't think it would make any sense to have, like you said, cross
I mean, not to interrupt, but honestly, I would have zero interest in just one aspect of this because, like I said, it's just, well, he did this and I did this.
Yeah, it's the
You're-
hardware,
You're
software.
asking
Well, I
for
know
trouble,
mine-
throwing gas on the
Yeah, I
fire.
do all my own turf maintenance in my house, and I wouldn't mow, the same day I put, chemicals down. It just doesn't make any sense.
As a landscape operator company, what have you, whatever you want to call it, I don't even take on customers unless I pretty much am given the keys to their house.
So I guess my question, Ryan, is, and I appreciate everything you entered, you put into all the information you sent us.
Yep.
And the references that you sent, or a lot of people in town,
Mhm.
Do you have any current commercial customers that you do, like, that are fields or something that are high traffic facilities?
Currently, no. But I submitted my resume to you.
Mhm.
You want to talk about high traffic? I mean, the golf courses that I've managed see anywhere from Golf Club in New England, high-end club, only saw 6,000 rounds a year. There's a reason for it. Membership's $125,000 a year. Souhegan Woods Golf Club, 36,000 rounds a year. Green Meadow Golf Club, 70,000 rounds a year. That's a ton of foot traffic. Now, we're talking about 15 acres. I'm used to managing 200 acres, 400 acres. I mean, it's all right there and right.
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I just
and if-
was curious because I didn't see any current customers, so that we could, usually, I know, again, from 4 years ago, we sort of are a little shy at jumping in because we had a customer, a client, not a client, a vendor, who really wasn't prepared for what
Right.
we needed.
I think if you contacted any one of those people listed there, some of those names should jump out at you. They're not going to back me unless they're confident in what I'm doing.
And I guess my other question is, you're currently working in marketing?
That's like a moonlight. I do that at night.
Oh, okay, so that's not a
Yeah.
full-time.
That job is just, it's a resume builder. It's a hobby. A friend of mine owns that motorcycle shop. He doesn't even pay me. The marketing for the business, it's all social media marketing. I mean, I can do that. I do it at night before I fall asleep.
Okay, so this isn't something, I mean, I just quickly read through it and I was kind of worried. I'm like, okay, you're going to be working 8 to 5 and then trying to fit this in outside.
The only time we really run shop hours on the weekends, and it's by appointment only.
Okay.
So, and his name's in there as well if you want to speak with him.
Did you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I believe yours was with Natticook. You had 2 different health maintenance. One I would call the basic, and one was more of a program. What is really the 2 differences? Is if you could explain this.
Well, I mean, in layman's terms, the cheap one was what I can do for you according to how the RFP was written.
Okay, the basic,
Right.
The minimum,
Which is not realistic. The second one is my program, and it's relative to what you've been spending for the last couple of years, as far back as I could search in the records. It's a more comprehensive approach, much more detailed.
more fertilizer during, or you manage the land as
Correct.
you see, and you
We
adjust as
weren't
needed.
You
weren't
asked
really
for-
specific in the RFP.
Right.
BRP asks for 4 steps of fertilizer applications. Ours are actually 5 fertilizer applications with all the necessary herbicide applications as we see fit, or as deemed necessary by current field conditions. You'll see a footnote in there for bent grass abatement on the brickyard fields. There's a substantial amount of bent grass encroaching in the brickyard fields, which poses a pretty serious tripping hazard for kids in cleats. And I've been keeping an eye on it for the last 4 years, and it's prevalent and it's still there. And we have remedies for that to try and choke it out and get rid of it.
Now, those remedies, that's something obviously, like typically with lawn maintenance, it takes more than a season before you actually get it under control. So you may see it die off, but before you could see the new grass spread.
Yeah, I mean, unless you want us to go in there with Roundup and kill everything and reseed the whole place, then it's a natural progression.
Have you looked at any of the other fields?
All of them.
And what was your opinion on?
Overall, they're not in too bad a shape. There was some crabgrass encroachment on most of them. It was a tough year for crabgrass all around. You know, high heat, midsummer, a lot of moisture. What happens is most companies only put down one crabgrass preventative application, and you get a lot of rain early in the year, and it's going to get flushed out. So that you get into those, those tough stretches of August, you start getting some germination that you really didn't expect, Some clover here and there. It was better this year than I've seen in the past couple. Other than that, I feel like overall field health is pretty good. Mowing heights are, unless they've started to bring them back up in the last month or so, they are kind of high for sports turf.
I thought they were high this spring.
I mean, ideally a soccer field should be, bluegrass perennial ryegrass soccer field should be about 2.5 inches max, and they're mowing well over 3.5. But of course, mowing once a week, it's tough. It's tough to stay ahead of it. So I'm looking into coming up with a way, if awarded the bid, to try and get certain fields, especially the soccer fields, cut twice a week. So.
And that would be still under the current bid, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have equipment to cut fields?
Yeah.
What size equipment do you have?
I run mostly my my zero-turn landscape mowers, but we're also in the process of acquiring a mid-sized tractor with a 6-foot deck under it. And my plan for that is I used to employ a lot of retirees. They're reliable. They're good operators if you find the right ones. And they're free to work any time of day. So, and you don't have to pay them a whole lot of money compared to, someone who's trying to make a move in the landscape business. That's my strategy for trying to get certain fields cut twice a week. And just put that person on a tractor with a climate controlled cab on it. They're comfortable and happy. So.
And then you'd use the bigger mower for specific, like the fields, etc. And then zero turns for,
We could mow all the fields in 7 hours, just with my standard mowing crew. But we would like to invest in some more equipment. As far as chemical applications, spreaders, all that, we're all set.
And you looked at the property at the John Bryant River access? Because that's part. Okay.
Yep.
And there's no maintenance to that other than cutting. It's not. We don't want to be treating it.
Yeah, and you said you just wanted it cut weekly, May, June, and then bi-weekly thereafter.
We just want to keep it down so that keep the ticks down, keep the make it look decent.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because that's another point of contention for me. Is a lot of these areas, you've got your fields, which are more higher maintained turf, or finite maintained turf, and then you have these areas that you also want mowed, and that's something that we would also be looking to acquire as another smaller zero-turn mower just for these areas that aren't managed on a chemical and fertilizer program, so that we're not, say we're doing the entrance to Litchfield Park, which is all crabgrass and weeds, and then we go on to your field that you're literally investing $3,000 an acre for these fields for the year. That doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the town.
So you would have actually almost dedicated machines to, like the river and the areas where
You
you're just
should.
doing basic
Yeah.
maintenance, right?
Yeah.
And then as you mentioned, the tractor with the 6-foot deck would be
Right.
more concentrated on the maintenance of the actual play fields.
Correct. But then, of course, like ball fields, especially the little league fields, they're very small areas square footage wise. So we would just hit those with our 0 turns and stripe them up real nice.
I guess my other question is on your letter, talking about if getting both bids, the 10% deposit, and then in exchange, you're looking to is prepared to furnish materials and labor for a turnkey installation of a well pump, plumbing, and all electrical for the irrigation system at the Justin Bissett baseball complex free of charge. So what would that entail?
You guys have had a well there for quite a while. You need water. The field needs water. And that again, that affects my bid. I can only arbitrarily bid what it's going to take me to manage that field because it's not irrigated. We have no control over it. It's primarily a crabgrass field right now. In order to get that place back in shape, you need water so that we can water in applications that require it when needed and just provide for a healthy environment for a healthy field. It's my way of giving back. And if the town is willing to extend the responsibility to me, I have multiple connections at a couple major well companies here in southern New Hampshire. One of them was my assistant superintendent for 7 years at Southern Woods Golf Club. He actually does this work specifically. He installs, they come and drill the well. He installs the pumps, all the plumbing, electrical. And I've
When you're
contacted
talking
him.
plumbing, you're talking,
Essentially running from the well into the shed or out into the field.
okay.
And then I have another very good friend of mine who works for another major well company up in the central New Hampshire area. And he's already priced out what we would need to do this. Just waiting on a price from this other company.
Just out of curiosity, I mean, would they be able to formulate a irrigation plan for that?
I can do that. I mean, I already know the well makes approximately 45 gallons a minute. It's 280 feet deep. It's a pretty simple process. Just got to get the pump in the water and get you water.
Mhm.
Talked to Steve Weber about it last week, and he was hoping to possibly get an overseeding down. Those efforts would be futile at this point. It's too late. Soil temps have dropped. You don't need it. Honestly, the grass is there. We just need to get water in there and get a good management program to keep the crabgrass out next year. So
Any other questions for Ryan?
Had to see the paper copy. I'm getting confused by the one of them. Just all of them.
Oh.
Are they all there?
I printed up some of the 27 pages that we got. I
Yeah.
didn't print them all out.
And then I saw these two that I'm confused by. So we have two from the,
So there's two different bids
Yeah.
for the maintenance part. The 17,000 is for the basics of what we had actually put in the RFP. The other one is what he's suggesting for proper maintenance
okay,
of the fields.
okay. So this is the one that we're talking about then.
Well, we're not talking about either right now. We're just sort of getting information from Ryan, and then we can start talking about the specific bids.
Okay.
Any other questions for Ryan before? Because once we get into the deliberation, we can't involve anybody else other than people on the commission. So this is our chance to ask him.
No, I'm good. I was just confused by
Okay.
the two different numbers.
you're welcome. And as I stated in my cover letter, no matter what the turnout or how this turns out, you guys have questions, you can ask me anytime. Just reach out. My email's in there. Happy to help. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All set?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Wasn't sure, but looking at my phone, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm confused.
I feel like I should say
Yeah.
something. Can I say something?
Sure.
I was supposed to meet Bob Barry here, and that's why I really don't have anything to say, but I'm sitting here looking at you all, and my name is Vivian Pilot. I'm a resident, and I'm on the board of the Litchfield Pickleball Association. So Bob was gonna do a presentation tonight, and I guess he's not.
Well, Bob sent me a text yesterday saying that they couldn't make it.
Oh, well, he didn't tell me.
Oh,
And so anyway, I just wanted to introduce myself and I'll leave. But I do want to say that the Pickleball Association really appreciates Town Hall. It's a great resource, and I know we use it in times that wouldn't be utilized by kids. So I think it's a win-win, but I just want to say we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's it. I'm leaving.
All right, so now we're on to our recreation field mowing and maintenance contract. So everybody got a chance to review
Yes.
the contracts. So I guess at this point, I am looking for either a motion or a well, we should have a motion to have a discussion. So does anybody feel strongly about a motion for one of these contracts?
I do. I really like the Natticook contract. I really like how thorough it was, and the pricing seems legitimate. And I really like the how it's laid out. I know exactly what all this stuff is. I actually use the same program in my house, and it's amazing.
So can we play games at your house?
Yeah. So if you want to come by.
So would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to accept.
Well, and you'd have to be specific because he does have two different
Yeah.
maintenance bids.
I mean, I would personally feel, I would go with the more extensive program. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And
All right, so you, just to clarify, you are,
So we split it down to one for mowing maintenance, and then he had 2A and 2B.
So
2A is the basic, as I asked him about, and then 2B is more of a. health
so a total
program.
amount of $49,072.40.
Correct.
correct.
All right, so we have a motion to approve or to award the contract to Natticook with their proposal to be for a total cost of $49,072.40.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
So we're discussing all of them, right? Because we're taking
Well, we're discussing this proposal specifically.
this proposal specifically.
Yes.
So we can't discuss the other contracts?
Well, in relation to this, yes.
Okay, yeah. So I think just in that context, I first started off looking at TLC for the current. I know people have been happy with where that has come to. So I appreciated what the work that they've done. So I will say that they did not provide much information. So that was something that jumped out as just a very stark difference from the other bids, and even on its own, not even compared to the bids, it just did not give the level of detail I would want for this significant contract. So that was a concern. I don't really know what we're purchasing with that bid. I mean, certainly, so he has a history of success, but at the same time, it's not well laid out in there what we're purchasing for the years ahead. The proposal that was moved was, in my view, the best one as well. I think it provides a lot of detail in a way that makes a lot of sense. So I felt very confident about that. I think anytime you bring in a new vendor, it's a bit of a risk, so I was pleased to see some other good references of work in there and individuals. So I was pleased to see that in the proposal. So I did feel that was the strongest one of the ones that were in there.
Yeah, I would like to add to it that the first one, TLC, where he did not have all the details. I assume the original bid that he submitted is what he was going off of. Did he?
Well, he's just going off of what we put in for specifics in the RFP.
For this time?
That's all we can really assume on anything other than, unless it's laid out differently in the bid.
Okay. And I agree with Pete as well as with 2B. I like the detail. I like the level of detail. I like that all three vendors deal in town and have a vested interest and skin in the game, if you will. I agree with that. 2B would be the preferred method.
So I feel very similar as far as the level of detail. I was impressed by that bid. What I was a little confused about was with Proscapes, were they only bidding on the maintenance and not the cutting? Or were they bidding on both?
I think it was both. It wasn't really
It wasn't separated though.
separated, no.
Okay.
I think Natticook is the best way to go. The only thing that I don't like about it is the 10% upfront by January 1st. And the only reason being is our budget did not allow that. Our budget does, the voters determine what the budget's going to be in March. And I don't know if that's something you guys want to consider. Other than that, the comprehensive study that he did to the fields are incredible. And, quite honestly, I was hesitant because the other two companies have actually volunteered a lot of time and effort. I don't know if any of you know this, but TLC and Proscapes have donated a lot of time, a lot of machine work, at least with baseball. So I kind of feel like, all right, that's great. Those guys have, given beyond what they should. The fact that Ryan is going to do the well pump is a huge step in the right direction in terms of, helping us out and helping out the town. Brian Bean has always done stuff for the town. He's rototilled our baseball fields. Proscapes, when we needed a dump truck this spring, he came in and spent the whole day shuffling material back and forth with his dump truck. Didn't charge us anything, and neither did TLC. So I have a lot of respect for those two companies for doing that. That's where I stand. I still, Natticook's in-depth proposal is definitely, the right thing to do for our town. That's where I stand.
And I just, on the 10th, I understand your concern on the deposit, but technically, once we sign the contract, we're on the hook for whatever we sign the contract for. Doesn't matter what the budget passes or not, we're on the hook for
You're right.
whatever we sign up for on the contract, whether it's January 1st or December 31st. We sign a contract, we're liable for that. So
I'm going to say that 5 years ago, we started off with a discussion when we were after the first round of landscapers at that point, where we had moved away from TLC the first time, that time. And there was I remember putting out the suggestion we should try to figure out a way to have someone come in and give us more of a detailed plan in terms of what we needed for the fields. Because as an organization, we really don't know. Like we aren't lawn care professionals. We have no idea what we're doing. That never came about back then. And that's when we then had a problem with the whole contract. With who we brought in and what they did and what, and realistically, taking time to get back the last 4 years, really, from what those fields were turned into in 3 years previous. So, I think that this plan is great. It lays out what is really what's needed and everything. Realistically, as we look at everything, we should really consider beefing up that RFP later on. If this plan, you look at all the detailed steps, these are the things we should be looking for in every RFP. We shouldn't be looking for just this general sense of, we just need to maintain, we need a program, whatever they feel is best. We need more of a step-by-step detail in the RFP for people to follow so that we're able to push it on down the line. You continue using it later on in terms of keeping the fields at the levels they're at. As I said, TLC over the last 4 years has done a tremendous job bringing the fields back from where they were. Sawmill especially. It was,
and Dara.
Yeah, but yeah, and Derry, I mean, they were both bad at that point. But, I mean, having the detail list is a big bonus.
I feel like adding on to what you're saying is, TLC's done a great job, and they've, the baseball fields were cut kind of long this year, but I like I like Natticook's aggressiveness by, critiquing what's been done and what needs to get done and how things are good and how things need to get a little bit better. And, and what you're saying, Mike, I agree. I think Natticook is going to take it to the next level, in my opinion. At least with all the time you put into this for a simple proposal, all this effort.
Any other discussion?
I guess my only question is, and I can't see it in the, I wish I would brought my laptop. You have all the equipment?
We can't-
Sorry.
can't ask
Okay,
that
so
question.
I'm assuming they have all the equipment. The only,
Well, that's what we asked before. is-
okay, I was trying to read. Okay, so did he say yes, they have everything?
Basically,
To do
they have the
everything,
equipment
yes.
right now to do it, but they are looking to get additional equipment.
My
to
only
make it-
question, and I know you guys weren't here before, but we had one vendor who came and subbed it all out, remember?
Right.
So. and I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
I wasn't, I was from the whole presentation, it didn't sound like anything was being subbed out.
Okay,
I mean,
good.
hiring
Yeah, I don't-
retirees to do it and
That was
having
in our
zero turn
last,
mowers and having,
Fertilizer
Um,
license.
yeah, I mean,
Pesticide
the only additional equipment was that bigger tractor. Which isn't a requirement.
It's an added
You can
benefit.
do it with- You can, if you have a bunch of zero turn mows, you can do it, it just takes longer, but,
Okay, so no subbing out. No one
Right.
heard that. Okay.
Is that on the RFP? Does it
no,
specify?
we had it in the previous RFP 3 years ago, that there could be no subcontracting of services without consent with us, which really should be in that. We'll add that into the next RFP, just because, not that subcontracting is a bad thing,
Right.
but if they subcontract and hire Joey, the 12-year-old who lives next door, to go out and cut the grass.
Yeah, we just had multiple, it was multiple
Yeah,
subs.
yeah.
When I retire, I'm not going to work, but if I have to work, I'm going to go with a enclosed cab mower.
I'd just say, I want to reiterate my apprehension to go away from TLC simply because twice burned.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm very shy to do that. But
But they weren't local either.
TLC?
No. The ones we went
Oh,
with,
yeah.
they weren't local.
But then on the other hand, I'm looking at a $10,000 difference to try and justify to the tax bits. We're going to have to go to the budget committee and increase our budget by $10,000 in order to accept.
correct.
10% increase, yeah.
And then it's status quo. He did not specify that he'd be upping his game to increase and, to get rid of the crabgrass and all that. It actually didn't specify. But
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
No, it's-
it has been, he has been getting rid of the crowd. It's been,
yeah, he's had a successful history.
There was about a third of Sawmill that was crabgrass that is now grass again. Because of what happened this spring. He came in, ripped it up, put down grass. It's all grass now. So, I have faith that, his proposal, in his mind, it's a continuation of what he's doing. But again, there's a monetary difference.
So you've had a high successful relationship with him as well.
and Andy, you were able to get you did call on some of the
I did. I
references.
called, I actually stopped and saw Tim Leary.
Okay.
And he recommended Ryan, with, his utmost confidence. He said he would be fantastic for this.
Okay.
And then I talked to Steve Sheen. And one of the other, Ryan had just done work for him at his house, and he said it was impeccable. He was very responsive, which is nice. So I like when you call somebody to get back to you. That's one of my big things.
That's huge.
So
I did talk to Troy Brown today too, on another matter, but he mentioned that, and I didn't realize that Ryan works closely with the highway department and comes highly suggested from Kevin at the Highway Department as well as Troy. So they spoke extremely highly of him.
Okay.
So, any other discussion? All right. All in favor of awarding the contract to Natticook signify by saying aye.
Do we have to?
Do we have to say
warn
which
to a
one?
Specific contract?
Yes, which contract?
Oh, yeah.
Is
No,
that-
no, it was motion,
Who's already
it was
voted?
motion
that
with
one? Okay.
1 and 2B.
1 and 2B for 49072.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, motion carries. Oh my goodness. 8-0-0. That's the largest vote we've ever had.
Crazy. Almost all here.
Well, congratulations, Ryan.
So
Thank you.
this goes into effect.
Congratulations, you. Yeah, it'll be good.
I'll start working on.
January, well,
Not immediately. I mean, I'm gonna start taking soil samples right away. I want to get an idea of what's going on out there. So, once I get that, I'll get in touch with all.
Great.
We got ourselves a mad scientist that's going to take care of our property now. That's good.
We
So
appreciate
it's
it.
1 year,
It's 1
goes
year.
into effect,
It's January 1st through December 31st.
and then are we allowed to
We'll have another
talk now?
RFP
Okay, okay. Another RFP.
next
which,
fall.
when do we discuss with the Board of Selectmen or whatever their proposal is?
Well, they have to sort of, once they come up with something, then we'll
Okay.
start the discussion.
And do we bring in our contractor to discuss?
Well,
Well-
we'll sort of get to that when we.
Is
when
that-
we get to that, we get to that, but I would I
Not that
recommend,
Ryan's not going to do a great job, but if the fields are 2 feet deep with crabgrass, we're probably not going to bring him in on that discussion.
That's true. But it's valid stuff that he
there are
brought up.
again, this brings me back to 5 years ago. Like, if we talk about splitting off part of the contract to the town or whatever, because that's what they come in with, we need an opinion of someone who's
Well,
not around a table, who's out there doing it,
That's what I'm
of
saying.
what they
We
think
need
it
a
is.
professional, because none of us
it
are
could be
lawn care.
our current, it could be our current contractor, it could be our current contractor and 2 other people that we want more than one opinion coming in saying
Yes,
this
you
is
need
the
Just to
professionals.
clarify, what the town is looking to do is consolidate all the cutting in town. It's not necessarily the highway department doing it. It's instead of having a contractor that's cutting our fields and somebody doing the library and somebody doing the fire station, somebody doing this,
Cemeteries.
Okay.
the cemeteries. Okay, is there a way to save overall and sort of combine this into one service? And if that is best done by the highway department and we determine that and we're on board with it, then that's
Now,
an
at that
option.
time, can we specify, because as he mentioned, cross-contamination, and can we specify that
Yeah,
the
we-
perimeters of the
our-
buildings will be
Our
cut this way? and-
responsibility is the fields, and if we feel that it's not in the best interest of what our programs are, then we do what's best for the fields.
Okay.
So,
But we could do something like pull the John Bryan axis where it's just gonna be basic cutting and who knows is what is going down there. That may go to the highway department.
right, and around town hall and just perimeter stuff, but I mean, that's not gonna save it.
Yep.
Again, that's a
That's not
discussion.
just
We have no information on what we're really looking at.
Okay.
Until we have that, it's sort of speculation at this point.
Okay, so this runs January to January.
Yes. So I will get the contract signed. I believe Troy and I have to sign off on it, right? So I'll get that done. So you'll get that returned. So it's official. And then we can start communicating and we'll be in touch. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Answer your phone once in a while.
All right. You too. Old business, following up on action items. So the floors at Talent, I have not heard back from Landry. I got to call him again. I left a message, but have not heard back on the floor. So that'll be my task for this week. I don't know if we had any other action items from the last meeting.
I don't recall that there were.
I
Peter,
wasn't.
do you remember?
No, I think just in the minutes you and I were going to connect. We didn't do that yet as far as some of the historical ones that you might have
Right. So
access to.
we want to
So,
get all the minutes moved. And
Right, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Work with
Oh, and
John
actually
Burnell.
contact, if you guys can contact Terry in the town clerk,
yep.
just to
Yeah.
make sure that we have a system in place so that
Mhm.
she has access to it. So anybody in the public that wants access
Right.
can instantly get
Yeah,
them.
and then it was working with John Burnell to migrate to WordPress.
Yeah. So
Yes,
actually,
I was wondering, yeah, I guess
he actually got me access
I got
to
the
it
same
today.
thing.
And you guys
So
got
we're
it.
changing the website, which is great.
We're going to look at it.
Okay.
And see it. Basically, this is what they're using now. Right now, our site is on what their old
Mhm,
system was. So we want to look
So
at
he's
like,
moving
just
over
to
to
keep-
WordPress.
well, he's giving us the option to look at it to see if we want to move it.
Just keep in mind our renewal for the old software is like January 1st.
Right.
So
Okay.
we have only a couple months.
And honestly, you know, where we're at now is probably like a negative 25
Yeah.
compared to like,
Right.
you know,
Just what
if
we
we can move to a 0 and it's an improvement. I mean, at least what we're talking about is above that, but.
Yeah.
That's something I'm willing to help out with. My background is actually in IT. I have a degree in IT, and it's something that I would be interested in.
Okay.
Give me a
Awesome. Couple things. So the budget, we met with the budget committee. There weren't really any questions on our budget, but they are deliberating on Thursday. I'm not going to be able to make the meeting, but I told Troy I have an online class that I'll be working with, but I'll keep an eye on the meeting online. And if they do have a question, I can contact Troy and get the answer to him. He doesn't feel that they're going to really have any questions for us on our budget. It's kind of straightforward. It's the one thing that we will adjust is we'll put this contract in. So that'll be accurately reflected. That was one of the sort of the question marks.
How did it differ from what we had as a line item already?
I think it's literally like $150
Right around
less.
the same.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and again, this contract, if years pass, if a sprinkler head gets damaged or something, that's not something that's part of the regular maintenance. That's something that will be an additional cost. So we do have to have that in there. If it's damaged by a group, then we just need to have them take care of it. I think like when softball was putting in the batting cages and ripped up part of the line, softball took care of that maintenance cost. But we do need to have something in there because there will be heads that are broken and things that need to be taken care of. And then we did get communication on the hoops. I don't know if you saw that email.
Yeah, that woman.
So I talked to Troy, and there is, because that is town property, that is something that would have to go through the Board of Selectmen in order, and it would have to be something that is sold, and it has to be a sealed bid process. The easiest process we have, and the suggestion is to contact the schools because they do have similar equipment on the playgrounds, and by giving it to the school, if anything of theirs gets damaged, they don't have to go out and buy it. They just have, backboard got broken, let's replace the backboard. The pole got hit by a plow and it's bent, we can replace the pole or any brackets. So and they have a huge storage area to put the things. So I'll contact the school and, keep it in the town. Because, that's about $3,000 worth of equipment.
Just sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other suggestion in talking to Troy, and I said, well, if the school doesn't want it, and it sounds kind of funny, but maybe installing one here and installing one at the highway department for the people that are working and they want to go out and,
Yeah,
it's amazing what 10 minutes of going out and shooting a basketball hoop for somebody that's working here at town hall or working at the highway department.
And then we'd have jurisdiction over the highway department, right?
It's like setting a flag.
So just, a couple thoughts on that. So that's, we can't really,
That makes sense,
yeah, we
actually.
can't just give it away to citizens.
Why not just put it in the town areas?
Right.
Because the school's not going to do anything with them. They're just going to
Except-
lay them on the ground like they are right now.
Okay.
So
How many
They
are
might
how
wanna
many hoops
install-
are there? 6 or
4.
Or four.
Is it the hoop and poles and everything, right?
Yeah,
Because the old poles have to come.
pole and everything.
Because, I mean, technically basketball purchased those.
Mhm.
But once something is permanently affixed to any of our properties, it then by default becomes recreation property and town property. So, like the sheds are our property. So, all right, that's all I had. Anything?
Saturday, we have the rock concert going on at Talent Hall at 7 p.m. I met with the two boys. The $3 admission fee, all of the money is going to go to John River Bryant Access. And then they will have some raffles and merchandise tables, etc. Once again, it's a non-alcohol event, 14 to about 21 years old. I'll be down there to help them get set up. I don't have to stay there the whole night, right? I just have to help them get in. Chaperone that. I'm not going to leave them to their own. I'm going to, but like get them into the door, let them get set up, hang out for a little
It
bit.
does
and then
need to
come
be
in.
an adult that is supervising so if you can't be there, we just need to know who is in charge so that in the event.
Well,
there's
both
an
boys are
emergency.
over 18.
Okay, so we just need
Yeah,
make
I'll
sure that
get
we have
the-
their contact
all the
information.
details, And then I will return later on. My thought is most likely I'm going to go out to dinner with my wife, and then I'll just go back afterwards around. They figured they're going to end about 10ish, so I'll help them make sure everything's cleaned up and the place is locked back up.
And our sign night is going to be canceled on Friday night.
It's
The
canceled.
woman's brother passed away. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's horrible.
so postpone that for now.
Okay. Anything else? All right, I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 800. Not bad.
No, not bad at all.
Shot.